Hello, everybody. It's Max with Crypto Talk now. With Luna Classic, are we about to enter the new era of crypto wealth and triumph? Well, for a lot of people, it seems to be that Luna Classic may very well end up being just that. So, without further ado, everyone, let's go ahead and jump right into today's hot topic, Luna Classic. So, here we go. As you can see right here, shout out to this particular individual, Jamin Mendez, who happens to be a musician, author, metaphysician, and artist who likes to write about crypto, spirituality, consciousness art, and the nature of reality. Shout out to you for doing a magnificent job on this particular write-up, which I'm going to share with you guys. Really, really well done. And we'll also cover some other things that we discovered. It's Luna Classic, the hottest, most trending crypto out there as we speak. So take a look at this. It mentions a few key things that I want to definitely point out. And like you see right here, it says if you've been paying close attention to the crypto market, which most of us have been, let's face it, especially in these bearish times, you will have noticed that Terra Luna has completely overhauled the entire crypto industry. The single platform is stunning collapse, as we know, and triumphant recovery has given birth to a new era in crypto, to say the least. It says, rising from its own ashes as Luna Classic, the token is making the most historical comeback of any Layer 1 platform in crypto history. After falling from $119 to a price of, get this, 0.60999, Luna Classic is currently trading at 0.00028 plus range. Now, we'll jump more into the nitty gritty, of course, of the actual prices, volume, and so on towards the end of this video. But for the purposes of this, you're going to really want to hear what you see in this particular article. So, it goes on to mention, just to give you an idea of the magnitude of this accomplishment, had you invested $100,000 in Luna Classic at the bottom price, like we mentioned, you will have netted a total of $28 million today, which is a 27,333% return in just 90 days, which is insane. This is so stunning of an achievement that is hard to fathom, as we know. No other Layer 1 platform has ever made this level of return. All this after a complete collapse. And if anything, it's just a really, really great story in itself. Once we achieve some of these things that are projected for Luna Classic, well, if anything, it will instill buyer confidence and also old buyer confidence. Let's face it. Previous investors may come out of the woodwork and decide to jump back into the whole crypto game. New investors especially, right? Because let's face it, when it comes to crypto, a lot of times, especially in this market, the mainstream media just wants to preach about the bad, not necessarily the good. But I like this. It says, during the past 7 days, Luna Classic has risen over 150%, while Bitcoin has been trending downward, retesting the 19,500 critical support level. And I mentioned multiple times, of course, on our live show, whether it's the Max and Larry show or just Crypto Talk Now, our daily 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific show, I felt as though it was critical for us to stay above that 20,000 level, and that we'll get multiple pullbacks if we didn't. And we basically saw that. It says, yesterday alone, Luna Classic rose a whopping 53%. There's a little bit more. The Luna Classic narrative, all right? There's always a narrative on anything. What most analysts have yet to understand, excuse me for a second, is the fact that Luna Classic, unlike most layer platforms, the likes of Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, and so on, is not depending on Bitcoin for its gains. And this part, I think, is absolutely crucial. Because if you think about it, traditionally speaking, right, Bitcoin and Ethereum represent 81% of the overall cryptocurrency market cap. And usually speaking, if those two aren't doing well, it will affect the overall crypto market. And of course, if they are doing well, the market kind of goes with it. But there is an exception to this rule, and it's basically Luna Classic. And we've known that for quite a bit of time now, right? The whole market's been down for like this last week, so on and so forth. What has been consistently pumping? Luna Classic. So it mentions this right here. It says it has already depegged from the Bitcoin quote unquote herd mentality and chosen it to buck the trend and make its own path in the world. Luna Classic is rising from its own internal narrative. This narrative is largely influenced by the fact that Luna's demise was caused by the depegging of its own algorithmic token, as we know, which is UST. Some of you guys know this, some of you don't, most do. And not by the normal crypto or stock market issues such as inflation, rising commodity prices, or tightening monetary policies. None of these larger economic issues are of any concern to the lunatics, the global Luna Classic army. Their focus is on reviving the Luna Classic platform and returning it to its rightful place as a Layer 1 ecosystem, which competes with Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and others. Now I get it. You may feel as though I'm reading most of this verbatim, and there's times I will do this. And then I would say this is definitely one in which I feel like it just needs to be mentioned. Because this person did a magnificent job outlining this, and it kind of gives you better perspective, to say the least, especially if you're just one of those type of persons in which you might have not really took a deeper, or the deepest dive, I should say, into everything about Luna Classic, all the nitty gritty, you name it, right? So it says here, in order to accomplish this monumental goal, Luna Classic's volunteer development team, which is the Terra Rebels, have focused on establishing a new platform governance, re-enabling the staking function, which by the way happened recently, and reducing the outstanding tokens currently sitting at 6.5 billion. Incredibly, all of the above objectives have been accomplished so far without a hitch. A new governance made of over 74% of the original validators were voted in on August 26th. Staking was re-enabled on the 28th, and the token reduction tax, which is the 1.2% proposed initiative, is scheduled to go live on-chain September 12th. It's a big day. Like the last previous big day was supposed to be the 26th of August. Of course, that has come to pass. The next big one, of course, is September 12th. Now, this part is worth pointing out. And of course, I'm going to show you another tweet here soon that's going to be kind of in comparison to what you just saw here. But nonetheless, it is worthy of a mention, and it's great to be able to understand what you see from this perspective, because let's face it, this is a very, very true statement. So Luna Classic versus Ethereum. These are the reasons why Luna Classic is pumping. Well, there's multiple reasons, but this is one really, really good reason. It says, and it will continue to pump as the world awakens to the fact that Luna Classic is the only true Layer 1 ecosystem capable of competing with Ethereum, and yet priced a whopping, listen to this, 5,972,867% lower. Just think about that for a moment, right? On top of that, like Ethereum, Luna Classic is a fully decentralized Layer 1 platform with smart contract functionality. In fact, it is better. Okay? Luna Classic is faster, has a cheaper transaction cost, and was built from the beginning as a proof of stake platform. That's a typo they have there. Proof of stake. Yeah. Ethereum is slow, costly, and is still a proof of work platform that needs to survive the upcoming quote unquote merge, scheduled to be in mid-September. Sorry about that. Apologize. Certainly, we cannot discount Ethereum's overwhelming dominance In the crypto sphere, 90% of all decentralized applications, aka dApps, run on Ethereum, and that's true. ERC20 is one of the most popular contracts out there. I'm not trying to debate that, and I don't think they're trying to debate that here either. But the point is, like you see here, it says it is the king of the pride when it comes to smart contract platforms. However, we do have a new cub rising in the grassland to challenge Ethereum in that regard. The blockchain beast is not Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, or layer 2 solutions such as Polygon and Optimism. It is none other than Luna Classic. Now, don't get me wrong here, right? This person is obviously a huge fan of Luna Classic. I'm a huge fan as well. I would never discount the likes of Polygon, especially what's going to happen in the future with Cardano. I'm just going to say that for the record. But I get where this person is coming from, to say the least, and it's outlined very, very well. All right. Now this part, the new crypto era. I think this part is really well written, and I want to, of course, share this. So, again, a little bit more of everything verbatim. So it says, the new crypto era. We are entering a new crypto era, and I couldn't possibly agree more. You see it happening with quite a few things. You may say, well, what do you mean by new crypto era? I mean, it seems all the same. It's not all the same. How do we know it's not all the same? Web3, that's a great example. What's going to be happening with the metaverse? For instance, the ISOs, right? We cover, what's ISO 222 compliant, everything that's going to happen in the banking sectors, financial institutions, you name it, right? So it is a new crypto era, to say the least, right? And that is just a tip of the iceberg. Okay, so it says, we are entering a new crypto era. Gone is the time when every token had to file a line behind Bitcoin and beg for permission to shine. That's the old mentality that had a believing that all cryptos are the same and Bitcoin is the king. Luna Classic's demise and its meteoric rise is breaking the chains that locked all Layer 1 platforms to a Bitcoin dominance model. Instead, Luna Classic is proving that not all cryptocurrencies are identical. They are all uniquely designed to solve particular problems which will never be tackled by Bitcoin, and thus should be analyzed and priced accordingly. What a great statement, and what a great perspective. That I would have to agree with that. Ethereum in particular has always been negatively affected by this lazy mentality on the part of the investors to study and appreciate the unique solutions it has and continues to solve with the crypto sphere. But that is another story for, of course, another article. Returning Luna Classic and the theme of this piece. We have been ushered into a new phase of the crypto economy based on the collapse of Terra Luna and its phoenix-like rise from the ashes as Luna Classic. And let me just state this. I always thought it was ridiculous that Luna Classic didn't get the logo, right? Like what you see right here, this little 3D PNG on the far right, you know what I mean? The actual logo for Luna Classic. I always felt as though the one from Terra 2.0, aka Terra Luna, where it shows literally a phoenix, that technically should be Luna Classic's logo. Because Luna Classic is the one that's basically rising from the ashes. But to each his own. So it says, gone are the comparative analysis / paralysis of the past that enslaved every crypto ecosystem to Bitcoin. Think about it. You literally outlined some of, what happened recently. Last few weeks, so on and so forth, even the last few months, right? Luna Classic has literally done well in a bear market where everything else just went to hell in a handbasket. Let's face it, there's a few that, of course, pumped and did well, like Bone, so on and so forth, right? You can name some others. I'm not saying everything just went, bad. But the point is that Luna Classic will still do well, even though Bitcoin and Ethereum may be down in the dumps. Or I should say down in the dumps, but, not performing as well, to say the least. It states, we have entered a new phase, a new cosmic age, where all cryptos are uniquely appreciated for their special gift to humanity in helping us solve the entrenched global poverty created by fiat currencies and liberate the creative potential of every human being. Luna Classic is leading us into a golden age of tremendous abundance and hopefully a new awareness that money is not priced in fiat, but by the very life essence, which inherently sustains its dynamic and prices value. Wow, very well put on the words, to say the least. And it says, and just to prove my point that Luna Classics is leading its own triumph, let me quickly check on its current price. All right, speaking of which, because this is what won't necessarily be its current price. So, we go to CMC, and we do see that the overall crypto market cap is down, so down to 975. And by the time you're reading this, it might have, jumped back up. Bitcoin is sitting at 19,753. Ethereum is at 1563, right? We get it. But nonetheless, let's check out the 7-day real quick right here. Yeah, Luna Classic, in 24 hours, only up about 1.5%. I mean, that's nothing too great, right? On that 1 hour is down with 2.72%, but for the 7-day, 96%, sitting at a rank of 207. We get it, right? Another thing that's worthy to point out, okay, is USTC that you see right here, right? So that went up to a little over 3 cents, 27% for the week. And if you don't know this already, of course, shout out to Crypto Mike, aka Mike Cornwell, who shared this with us. Basically speaking, if you stake your Luna Classic on Terra Station, and you choose one of the various networks and so on, your reward is basically what? Your reward is USTC. How cool is that? That actually helps towards the whole concept of repegging to the 1-1 ratio to get USTC back to $1. That's a whole other story in itself. Maybe we'll just do a deep dive and just do a whole video on that specifically. But I thought that was the coolest thing I've heard in a long time. And get this, guys, USTC is approaching the top 100, right? And that's amazing in itself. Okay. But anyway, we click on this. You do see that the volume is down about 37% and so on. But we'll have a pullback. We'll get back to where we need to be. You'll see this here in a bit when we get to it, which is about right now. Now check this out. Again, like what you saw in the post. And again, shout out to Jamin Mendez who posted this. Because guess what? That person is not necessarily the only person that feels this way. And I don't want to say, shout out to this person, he did a great job. This might be a she. I don't know, because, a name like that. But nonetheless, very well written. Now, what I want to share is something similar to what Jamin wrote. This right here. Shout out to Lunk Burn Community. Luna Classic Burn Community. I can't believe I just said Lunk. But anyway. It says, smart money is buying up Terra Luna Classic blockchain. Now, that's the whole key here. When we talk about, when in doubt, follow the money. This is part of it. We want to follow whale activity, all those things. Also, smart money, right? So like it says right here, like Ethereum, Luna Classic is a fully decentralized layer 1 platform with smart contract functionality. In fact, it is better. Again, similar to what Jamin posted. Luna Classic is faster, has a cheaper transaction cost, and was built from the beginning as a proof of stake platform. Ethereum is slow, costly, and is still a proof of work platform that needs to survive in the upcoming merge scheduled for earlier September. Couldn't agree more. Top of that, look at this. It looks like Luna Classic, and by the way, this was posted, I think, about an hour ago. It's still pretty fresh. It looks like Luna Classic has broke out of its bullish pennant. Could we see a pump soon? You zoom in more, and it's just that. There is that bullish pennant, and at the tail end, it looks like it's breaking out of that. So is that an indicator? I feel like it could very well be. And everything leading up. You have people who are going to be FOMOing in. We have at least 30 confirmed projects that decided to join the ecosystem, and there's over 70, I believe, that said that in total. That includes, of course, the 30. whether they're either committed or stating they're going to come back. And that's huge for something that, you know, the naysayers said that, you know, oh, you guys are a bunch of fools for getting into this, and then just laughing and stuff. There's always going to be naysayers. I saw it last year with Shiba Inu, and I went through the whole, you know, 5 or 6 months of just when it went from the previous all-time highs in May, and then just sitting there waiting and, you know, seeing it trade sideways for like 6 months until we went to a huge bull run, new all-time highs, 0.4088. All the naysayers said, oh, it's just a stupid meme coin. There's always going to be the naysayers is the point. All right, a little bit more. So there's this. Luna Classic Burn Community. It says staking is increasing, close to 500 billion staked. Hit the like button if you staked your Luna Classic. And like you see right here, for instance, it states supply and circulation total right here. You have that 6,903,000,000,000. Staked is 492 billion. There's a community tax of 0.50%. Community pool 16,100. I'm sorry, 16,121,697. Okay, some good useful info. On top of that, I like this. So I really, really wish that every exchange would be like MEXC Global. I mean, it would be amazing. We would hit our goals so much quicker. But, you know, MEXC is always going to stand out as being that one that is pretty much like a community-based centralized exchange. So, like I mentioned, congratulations to MEXC Global, which started at 1.2% Luna Classic burn tax on September 3rd. And they basically burn Luna Classic according to September 3rd's trading volume. And they will continue to burn 11 million on the first day. It says, guys, we have to support MEXC. By all means, yes, do that. Please trade on MEXC because they always have been with Luna Classic. And yeah, that is basically just that. And they mentioned some of the things that were just, they're kind of like, this guy was reiterating what they just mentioned. Yeah, the burn amount of Luna Classic will be updated daily in this announcement until the end of the burn event. There's a little bit more there that, you know, we basically talked about. But, you know, MEXC is just, they're the standout one. Can you imagine if the likes of, like, you know, KuCoin had this attitude, or, you know, big announcement from CZ of Binance, and, you know, CZ basically said, yep, we're going to do the same thing. And it's just like this massive community, you know, thing going on. And they're all on board, just like how MEXC originally was. That would be monumental. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But guess what? It makes the other exchanges at least recognize what they did. And if anything, it creates what? More of that demand, and it trends, etc., etc. Now, a little bit more before we wrap up this video. I know it's a little bit longer, but you know what? It's great content, to say the least, when you see these things. So we already read this about that article that you saw from Jamin, right? What was her name? Jamin, her name. See, I don't even know. Apologize for that. But, you know, guys, again, we'll watch Luna Classic closely, to say the least. I want to show you this one last thing, and this is, of course, from Crypto Bubbles, right? And I'll put it back to how I had it before. Let me just type in Luna. Here we go. And we'll read the KuCoin, because, you know, KuCoin has great charts for live charts as far as I'm concerned. So something I want to show you guys just real quick, and that is on that one day. I mean, look at that. That's looking pretty good. You know, we're seeing the forming of a pennant already. So that's just not something, you know, trying to pull data out there, you know what, right? On the 12-hour, still, you know, again, it's still representative of that. You can see how that flag is being formed, right? Let's see, 4-hour, does it represent that? Yeah, for the most part, right? It's like one pennant, then another, well, maybe a little bit more sideways action, right? Go down to like a minute. Way different, right? Way different. But nonetheless, on that day, looks great. 12-hour, looks just as good. So by the time you may see this, it may be a little bit more different, to say the least. But guys, at the end of the day, it's Luna Classic, and it's the most trending, most talked about one out there as we speak. And with that said, everybody, thanks for watching today's video on a Luna Classic. I feel as though we had a lot of detailed info to provide you. If you want to hear more about Luna Classic, join us on the live show. Crypto Talk Now, whether it's the Max and Larry show or I myself with mine or Larry, and sometimes he does his own thing as well. But it's a great show. We have a great community. We cover Luna Classic. We cover some of these other ones like Bone, some of the ISO 222 compliant tokens / coins like for instance Quant, XRP, XLM, you name it, right? So again, I want to thank you guys all for watching. May you all have a blessed day. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you on the next one.